Jon Mansell has just released his new book, Italian Western Violent Image, Savage Soundtrack Volume 2 for a Few More Westerns, which completes his trilogy of books, which includes the symphony Behind the Screams, Hammer's musical heritage, and the first volume of his love of Italian Westerns, Italian Western Violent Image, Savage Soundtrack, the music of spaghetti westerns. In this interview with Cinematic Sound Radio's Jason Drury, he talks about the third installment of his trilogy, which has been a personal journey for him.
It's a personal journey, a love letter to the films that have inspired, entertained, and influenced me. This book is for anyone who shares my enthusiasm for these films. So let's ride into the sun-scorched landscapes of the Italian West.
Jon, when did you decide to do a second book?
I knew, as I was writing the first volume, there was a lot of other things I could cover. I had more to say after Volume 1 was published, and wanted to include a filmography and discography, along with recognition for the many individuals who helped bring the soundtracks of Italian westerns to the UK from the late 1960s to the 1980s. People like Michael Jones, who is remembered by many but rarely acknowledged, deserves mention. Additionally, I wanted to highlight the contributions of actors, directors, producers, and writers in this genre. I also spoke with several directors, composers, performers, and others who were influenced by Italian westerns. The impact of this genre was significant, and I aimed to incorporate as much information as possible. My goal was to create a book that collectors and fans would find enjoyable and relate to, rather than one that would overwhelm them with technical details. I hope I have succeeded in this endeavour. Peplum, or sword and sandal movies produced in Italy, were the forerunners of the Italian Western. I would not say the yarns of ancient Greece and Rome were the catalyst for the production of Westerns in Italy per se, but rather a collection of movies that were a precursor to the popularity of the Italian Western. My first recollection of an Italian sword and sandal epic was in the early 1960s, Goliath and the Barbarians. It seemed like a natural progression for Italian filmmakers to go from sword and sandal yarns to tales of the West. The Peplum adventure eventually lost its appeal rapidly, with non-Italian audiences deserting the toga-clad heroes of Rome and Athens for the dusty anti-heroes of the Wild West.
How long did you get to research the book?
Well, I suppose most of the book's content comes from my own personal memories, my soundtrack collection, the films I have watched, and also the composers I have met along the journey, plus conversations with record labels and record producers. So if I said I started to collect Italian Western soundtracks around 1964, the book took 60 years to research and put together, give or take a year.
How long did it take to write the book?
Again, it's a subject I've always tried to promote and I'm passionate about.
How many Italian Western scores do you have?
At last count, there were at least 650 CDs and about 200 LP records. The vinyl is all original stuff from the 70s. I used to travel up to Soundtrack, Dean Street, Harlequin Records and other places to buy them, whistling tunes in my head. I was around 13 at the time.
How long did it take to collate the pictures for the book?
About a year or so. I had intended to use them in Volume 1, but did not, because it was my first book, and I wanted to focus more on the information rather than fill it with pictures.
How many interviews did you do for the book, and what was the timeline for you working on them?
This second volume features 3 interviews. One with Franco Bixio, which I conducted in November 2025, as well as an interview with Fabio Frizzi from 2024, and another with Captain Apache composer Dolores Claman from a few years ago. I am told that the songs in Captain Apache were recorded in London. Was the main score also recorded in England, or was this done in Spain?
No, they were recorded in Madrid. We had English-speaking singers who were exceedingly rare and not necessarily experienced, so we had to add a lot of reverbs. The score was also recorded in Madrid, but we had an exceptionally fine conductor-arranger, Pepe Nieto, with whom we worked on a lot of other projects before and after. As I understand it, after Lee Van Cleef heard Lee Marvin singing in Paint Your Wagon, he decided that he wanted to sing too. His wife encouraged him also.
They're after me with guns and knives and fast horses. They're after me with bombs and drives and fast women. They're gonna tail me, trail me, try to nail me there. But they haven't got a prayer. They're coming from the north, the south, and across the border. The enemies of peace and truth and law and order. They'll try to cheat me, beat me, when they meet me there. But they haven't got a prayer. They're waiting in the bars, the streets, and quiet places. They're wearing shiny boots and spurs and smiling faces. They're gonna stall me, maul me, try to call me there. But they haven't got a prayer.
This volume also includes 45 biographies of composers, including well-known figures like Carlo Savina, alongside lesser-known talents Bruno Canfora, Mario Migliardi, and Carmelo Bernaola.
There will come a morning, a deadly morning. The eye of the devil will burn like the sun in the sky, and men they will run or they'll die. Who will be the coward? Who will be the brave? And who will remember the man who lay cold on the sand? The man who lay cold on the sand. Lawless town, you've gone astray. Your lost love has gone away. law, no. Deadly morning, the eye of the devil will burn like the sun in the sky, and men they will run or they'll die, die, die.
Also, Volume 2 includes profiles of performers, including Eda del Orso and others. Eda del Orso is an accomplished and talented vocalist associated with the music of Italian cinema, predominantly with composer Ennio Morricone on many of his film scores, contributing distinctive soaring vocalizations to compositions including The Ecstasy of Gold and Once Upon a Time in the West. She was without doubt an important part of Italian film music's genre. Sergio Leone's name is now synonymous with Italian westerns, for example, A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, and, as some might say, his magnum opus, Once Upon a Time in the West. However, he wasn't the only Sergio to work in the Italian western genre. Two other directors were responsible for helming Italian westerns, who shared Leone's Christian name. Sergio Corbucci and Sergio Sollima both made significant contributions to the genre.
Of the scores featured in your book, which ones for you stand out as definite examples of the genre?
All of them are great, but if I had to choose, I would highlight the works of Marcello Giombini, Francesco De Masi, Bruno Nicolai, and of course, Ennio Morricone. Honestly, each score from an Italian Western has something that will, I think, appeal to most people. The range of musical styles within the genre is incredible. The way these films were scored was innovative and groundbreaking. The music became integral to each plot and played a crucial role in the filmmaking process. While Italian Westerns would still exist without the music, they may not have had the same impact and influence.
Are you working on any other books which will be published in the near future?
Yes, I have a few projects in the works, plus doing research on something that I do not think has been covered before. I can't be sure when they will be out, but hopefully the first of them will be in print by December 2026 or January 2027. The publisher Bear Manor Media are working hard on them.
Well, thank you, Jon, for speaking to me, and good luck with the new book, which I'm looking forward to.
Thank you, Jason.
I'm a lone and angry man, drifting like the shifting sand. My fate's to die with gun in hand for revenge. This evil world has done me wrong. Now there's no place where I belong. The only thing for which I long is revenge. Each man must have a love, and so had I. A love so good it made me cry to think of all past deeds I'd done. But death's a man who takes but never gives, and soon my lover's life was his. Since then I trust in nothing but my gun. I was a fool not to have known that I was born to die alone. So all that's left to call my own is revenge. Alone for all eternity, that's the life that's left for me. Until I die and am set free, I am